on different. P.NET is a cross-platform, high-performance, open-source framework to build modern, cloud-enabled, and internet-connected applications. Excuse me. Excuse me. So with ASP.NET Core, you are able to write web applications, you are able to write web services, you can write Internet of Things applications, mobile back-end services. You can use your favorite development tools on any platform. You are not limited to a certain platform. There are tools that you can use the same tools on different platforms. For example, there's Visual Studio for Mac, there's Visual Studio for Windows and Linux. So the same tools can be used on different platforms, Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. You can also, once your application is now ready, you can deploy it, if you so choose, to the cloud, or you can deploy it to on-premise if your organization or the organization that you will be working for is has its own on-premise servers. So the requirement, one of the major requirements, which is a must, is that where ASP.NET applications are going to be hosted, the machine that will be hosting your ASP.NET application should have the .NET Core platform installed on it. So now there are a lot of .NET here, and you may be confused in terms of which .NET is what. So let's look at the .NET Core and ASP.NET Core. ASP.NET Core is an implementation of a standard, which is a .NET Core. .NET Core is just a standard, and ASP.NET Core is an implementation of that standard. You can think of this as, I would love to make an analogy with the HTML5 standard. An HTML5 standard is a standard, and browsers are the implementation of that standard. So when you write your web pages, you are actually also looking at the HTML5 standard, so that your web page can be displayed by different standards. So the requirement for your application to successfully execute on any machine is that the machine to where your application will be executing should have the .NET Core standard installed, the .NET Core standard or the .NET Core runtime installed on it. So what are the benefits of actually using ASP.NET Core over its competitors? The benefits are that ASP.NET Core is cross-platform. That means you write your application only once, and it can work on Windows, it can work on Linux, it can work on Mac OS. So you are not limited to one specific platform, and it provides a numerous number of UIs. It also provides a numerous number of design pattern, of development patterns, such as Razor pages, such as MVC. It just depends on which one you feel comfortable to use. It also provides Blazor. Blazor is basically the ability that you would be provided by the ASP.NET Core to use C# in the browser alongside JavaScript. Currently, C# doesn't work on the browser, but with ASP.NET Core, you are able to use C# inside the browser alongside the JavaScript. You are able to share server-side and client-side app logic, all written with .NET. You also gain an ability to develop and run on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. I've said this before. I've said this already. The most important thing about ASP.NET Core is that it is open source and community focused. What this means is that though it is started and managed by Microsoft, it's not only Microsoft that actually contribute to the development and growth of and improvement of ASP.NET Core, but rather it's the community itself. you can also contribute to the improvement of ASP.NET Core, so you don't have to pay any amount of money in order to be able to use it. It's for free. It supports hosting remote procedure services using gRPC. It has a built-in dependency injection. When you write an application using the ASP.NET Core, you really do not need to learn about any external or third-party dependency injection platforms such as Unit and many more. It's lightweight. It has a high performance and modular HTTP request pipeline. It has a lightweight, high performance and modular HTTP request pipeline. You can host the ASP.NET Core application on Kestrel, on IIS, on HTTP .sys. You can host it on Nginx. You can host it on Apache and on Docker. The other important thing is that you can have different versions of the same application on the same machine. With .NET framework, you are not able to have different versions of the same application on this running on the same machine at the same time. But with ASP.NET Core, you can have any number of versions of the same application running on the same machine. It provides you with tools that simplifies modern web development. Does that make sense? Hope it does.